We begin in Nigeria, where the Senate was thrown into chaos during the screening of the three new ministerial nominees put forward by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as Balarabe Abbas slumped during his confirmation session. The Senate went into a closed-door session while efforts were made to revive him. To all the ministerial nominees are Dr. Jamila, Ibrahim, and Olawande. Notably, Balarabe's nomination is particularly significant as it is proposed as a replacement for Nasir El-Rufai, the former governor of Kaduna State. In a separate development, the Senate recently made substantial changes to its standing orders, which bars first-time senators from competing for the position of Senate President and Deputy Senate President. The new rule stipulates that candidates for these top roles must have completed at least one 4-year term in the Senate, ensuring that only experienced ranking senators can contest for these leadership positions. Joining us this evening for this discussion is Da-Silva Johnson, President, National Interest Network. He joins us live from the nation's capital, Abuja. We also have Dr. Daryl Kayode, a social-political technocrat, who joins us from Nigeria's commercial capital, Lagos. And one welcome to you, gentlemen, and thanks for joining us on the conversation.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
Now,
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Now, I'd like to start with Da-Silva in Abuja. What's your assessment of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's decision to nominate 3 additional ministers, including a replacement for Nasir El-Rufai, in light of the Senate's previous withholding of El-Rufai's confirmation due to alleged security concerns?
All right. Thank you for having me, and I'm really happy to be here. Let me first of all appreciate the President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, for nominating the candidates of his interest, picking them from the different states as he so wished. But I have a reservation in terms of the nominees, especially in trying to replace El-Rufai. All right? El-Rufai is known to be a strong personality, somebody with ideology, somebody who is intelligent. And if you are replacing him, it is expected that you look for somebody like him. And if possible, somebody who is healthy. I have a problem with the nominees. And to me, it is not right. It is not right.
Why do you say so?
Made a choice. Yes, it is not right because to me, Kaduna State has people who are able, people who are competent, people who are strong, people who can also deliver. So as far as I'm concerned, what I watch today is a national embarrassment. I appreciate
wait. Just to get you clear, Da-Silva, national embarrassment because he had health challenges and he fainted, or national embarrassment based on his capacity and his or the questions that were asked? I need to get you clear because we're all human beings and anyone can fall sick at any point in time.
Yes, you are right. If you check the history of Balarabe, of the man in question, is someone who has served the government. He served under El-Rufai himself as a secretary to the state government. So he has capacity, he's intelligent. And checking his record, he's a man that studied political science, and he has been there. He has been there. So I have no problem with his being competent. I have no problem with all that thing. But for the fact that he is unhealthy, maybe old age, for the fact that he's unhealthy, it is not good enough. And that is what I call national embarrassment.
But Da-Silva, if you didn't witness him fainting on the floor of the Senate today, you'll probably not be making this statement. It could probably be out of fatigue, or maybe he didn't eat or something, because you don't have his doctor's report to categorically state that is unhealthy. Where are you getting this information from that informs this your decision to say that Mr. Balarabe Abbas is unhealthy? Is he based on what we witnessed today in the Senate?
Yes, I am not a doctor and I have no report concerning his health. But what I'm saying is that for you to bring someone up and he is aware he was going to face a panel today, the Senate today, for his screening. So it is expected that he comes prepared. But let's say accidentally, whatever happened. To me, it does not matter the reason. It does not matter what happened. It does not matter if he's healthy and it is because of stress. But for the fact that he collapsed on national television, he collapsed before the Senate, is already a question mark. It's already a question mark to his health as a person, or probably his capacity when he even finally comes up as a minister. And that is my problem. That is my problem. We have other people there in the same state that might not go through this kind of issue, bringing them up. And he wasn't the only one there. So for him to apologize, that's what I said, it could be as a result of age. It could be as a result of age. And then probably, let me say, probably, maybe he's tired. Maybe he's tired. The only problem I have is he should have been able to give them the feedback. Sorry, I won't be able to make it today. Sorry, I am under serious stress, and so on and so forth. So, but for him to come up and such happen, it does not matter the reason. It is an embarrassment.
Thank you very much, Da-Silva.
And that is a question mark to his capacity.
Stay with you, Da-Silva. How significant are these nominations, particularly that of Balarabe Abbas? I know you did touch on it during your opening submission as a replacement for Nasir El-Rufai. And what implications might this have for the president's cabinet and the country's governance? What do you make of the list of nominees in general?
Wow, thanks for that question. But looking at the list of the nominees, you can pick few people in the team that you can, of course, conclude and say, this person is good, this person is competent. I don't know if I'm permitted to mention names. Somebody like Nyesom Wike in the Federal Capital Territory, he's already proving his capacity. And then somebody like the minister in charge of works and housing, so he's already proven his competency. In fact, the Minister of Women Affairs is also already proving his competence. So there are a few of them there. But the other question is the records of these people. So many of them have issues of character, issues in the court of law, issues of corruption, issues, or so many issues. So you look at it and you just conclude, you smile. I smiled when I saw the list. You know, some of them is becoming like rewarding them maybe for their support during the campaign. And so you need to compensate them. That is why some of them are there. If not, what they're trying to set is actually unhealthy for Nigeria, because a whole lot of them that have chains of issues that are questionable when it comes to character and conduct, even when they are in office and so on and so forth. Some of them are supposed to be facing panels. Some of them are even facing court cases already. So to appoint them and put them in place. For example, the former governor of Osun State, looking at him, who is this Oyeleke or something, Adeleke is replacing. We have issues over there.
Oyetola.
He's coming now to be, yes, Oyetola, and then he's now a minister. So it's like once somebody has issues down there, then you pull the person up here and then put the other person under in shame. That has been the issue, and it is very, very unhealthy. If there is a case against someone, that person nomination should be able to stand pending until the case is over. But for you to appoint them, put them in place, look at the person in charge of APC now, the chairman of APC, who has issues in the state, and yet is APC chairman. So that is what the present political elites are trying to show. Tell us that you can actually forget your stories, your cases, your issue of criminality, corruption, whatever against you, forget it. It will be waived off. Later, you even become a minister, you become this and that. It is very, very sad this is going on. That's the problem I have with the nominees. That is the problem I have.
Yeah, they should be. And talking about, yeah, I mean, your assertion is that there should be more thorough, a thorough type of vetting of this nominee, so we don't have questionable characters in positions of power in the country, if I get you right, Da-Silva. Now, moving on. Given the rejection of two other ministerial nominees, and we do remember that Nasir El-Rufai was rejected earlier, these nominees are Stella Okotete from Delta State and Abubakar Danladi from Taraba State. What does this say about the Senate's scrutiny process and its role in ensuring the competence and suitability of ministerial appointees? And how might this influence future nominations and confirmations? Are you happy with these scrutiny of the Senate? Do they do a thorough job in vetting some of these ministerial nominees, in your opinion?
During the screening, I followed every details, and I kept smiling. The two, I'm sorry, El-Rufai and the other personalities screened out or rejected are actually, let me call them scapegoats. That's all. I won't call them the scapegoat. I think the Senate, with due respect to our Senate, it's a kind of, can we just pass all of them? And Nigerians might not, might think we're not doing a thorough job. Okay, let's just do that. That's in my own opinion. I have right to my own view. That is what I think happened there. All right. If and then probably the nature of El-Rufai might actually refuse to play, to dance to certain.
Hello, Da-Silva, are you there? Da-Silva Johnson, could you hear us loud and clear? Okay, go ahead, please.
And he might not be willing to do that. Yes, he might not be willing to do that. For example, go and submit your form on social table. He might feel, I don't want to submit my form there. That may be part of the reason they look at you and say, come, are you stubborn? Come, are you proving something? Okay, we'll reject you. And some underlying factor we may not really know. If not, El-Rufai, for me, is.
Okay, we seem to be having some connection issues with Da-Silva Johnson, but if you're just tuning in, this is the conversation on News Central Television. I've been discussing the submission of 3 additional names to the Ministerial Nominees list for confirmation to the Senate. We're joined by Da-Silva Johnson, President of National Interest Network in Abuja. Da-Silva Johnson, are you back?
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay, great. Now, moving on to other matters away from the ministerial confirmation. Yesterday, in the Senate of Nigeria, there was some amendments to its House rules. The recent amendment to the Senate standing orders prevents first-time senators from contesting for the positions of Senate President and Deputy Senate President. Could you elaborate on what sort of context or specific events that led to the need of such an amendment? Is it not discriminatory to first-time members of the Senate?
Well, I want to say a lot is happening in our dear country now that we really need to sit down and take assessment and be able to control ourselves. If not, look, we have been talking, Nigerians have been talking about amendments, even of the Constitution. That has not been considered. Nigerians have been talking about so many things that need to be visited upon, like funding of public service and the rest of them, even the political office holders, their salaries and take home and so many other things. I've not seen why that is not being visited. And then the next thing you are visiting is the issue of Senate President, and you are going ahead to amend the law. There are many laws that should be amended, not that. And if you want to really sit down to do a thorough job, you sit down, itemize what in the laws require amendment, and then the procedures being followed, and then amendment can take place. And issues of concern to Nigeria now can be amended. For the one on ground now, to me, it is actually not the right time. I feel it is not the right time.
Yeah, but
it's not a journey.
I mean, the Senate is a separate arm of government, and they have a right to decide what timing and what issues they want to deal with. But focusing and that issue, in your opinion, you feel there are other pertinent issues that should be priority rather than adjusting their standing orders and house rules. But looking at the Senate as a body that makes laws for Nigerians and the quality of the personnel we want there, what do you make of the decision to leave the office of the Senate President and the Deputy Senate President to to senators that have served more than a term in office? What do you think informed this sort of decision, and what are its implications?
Well, I want to say that I'm going to look at it in two ways. Number one, I want to feel, and it's not just about what my feelings, about what is happening, what we're seeing. We're Nigerians and we're watching, we're seeing everything. I think they are trying to look at issue of experience. So if you're a senator for just a term, it may be taken that you don't have the adequate experience to lead. And I would say maybe because of certain happenings in the recent time, where the Senate President on national television and telling Nigerians, telling the National Assembly members of what has been deposited into their account to go and enjoy the holiday, and then which brought about a whole lot of things, controversy, in the country and some other issues. At a point, there's been rumor underneath that he may be impeached. And I remember a senator came aboard and said he was going to be disciplined for that act, instead of to look at the genuineness. The guy was genuine. The guy was doing what was real, but because it was done on national television, so a decorum was actually not really applied, and that was why he has to be disciplined. And I laughed. But that may be what is informing this present act of saying, okay, you can't just be a senator for a short time and then you come up and become Senate President. We have our ways, we have our rules, which Nigerians might not know, okay? So the second aspect to it is what the Constitution says. The constitutions really do not permit that, and that is why they are trying to amend it. If not, once you are voted in, you are elected in as a member of the National Assembly, you are qualified. By the Constitution, Section 50 says so. You are qualified to be a Senate President. So if they want to do something better, enacting another law, amendment of the law to do that wouldn't be what I would recommend. I would recommend enough training, before going on board to start practicing. So train your people, discuss, and do the rest. And it's not just about amending the act, to ensure that if you don't go through it maybe 2-3 times, then you are not qualified. That was what I would say. To me, all the events that have been happening in the past inform that. They can come up and say no to that, and we will answer them.
Now, Da-Silva, beyond this amendment to the House rules, the Senate also added 9 additional standing committees, and it's a significant change. What specific legislative issues or areas of governance do you believe these new committees are designed to address, and how might they impact legislative process? I'll just give you a reminder of some of these new committees that have been created. There's 9 other committees. They are the Senate created the Committee on Atomic and Nuclear Energy, which would oversee the Nigerian Nuclear Energy Regulation Commission. There's also they split the Committee on Federal Capital Territory into different standing committees, namely Committee on FCT and Committee on FCT Area Councils. There's also the splitting the division of the Committee on Sports to 2 standing committees. They now reflect the Committee on Sports Development as well as Committee on Youth and Community Engagement. What do you make of this?
Well, I must say they are trying their best to engage and tax their capacity or interest to do the needful. But to me, all the committees, okay, FCT, local government, maybe is as a response to the agitation of the indigenes of FCT, trying to claim more local government and the rest of them for the Federal Capital Territory. So that may be informing that. And then sport, of course, is known to be the only thing, if not, if I'm not right, I can be corrected. The major or the only thing uniting Nigerians. So maybe, and then to carry the youth along. But to me, there are other issues, pertinent issues that should have been considered. There are pertinent issues that should have been considered. The issue of economy, what is happening? The issue of what do you call it, unionism, what is happening? Because the strike actions here and there, how do we stop that? I believe those should be the
those are very pressing matters that need urgent attention. Thank you so much for your time, Da-Silva Johnson, President, National Interest Network. We do appreciate your insights on the program. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me.